Hey friends, welcome to the channel. If you want to learn a new language with success in 2024, then this is the right video for you. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany. On this channel we create content that helps us become productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today I want to show you how to learn a new language from scratch in 2024 without all the fluff and the things that are boring and just don't work. Of course, you can also just take parts of the plan if you are not planning to learn a new language from scratch, but want to improve the language you're already learning. And I'm happy to announce that this video is sponsored, but more on that later. Alright, let's dive into today's... Oh wait, you know what comes next. First, a nice sip of coffee. Los geht's! You need to have a really good reason to learn a language because it'll take time. That means if you have no good reason, you won't be able to invest the time needed. Despite what some people are claiming, like that you can learn a language in weeks or months to a high degree of fluency, it usually takes way longer. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Especially the first language you want to learn has to be one you find truly fascinating. And after you've had success with one language, you'll also have the motivation and trust in yourself that you can learn more. Only if that's what you want, of course. But I can assure you that language learning is addictive and I can't get enough of it. If you want to learn more about which language to learn, I've already made a video about that and you can find it somewhere here. Once you have chosen the language, it's also important to have realistic expectations. The more the language differs from your mother tongue and the more complex it is, the more time you will need to learn it. Let me give you an example. For me, it has been fairly easy to learn Dutch because my mother tongue is German and I also speak English. All those three languages are from the same language family, the Germanic languages, and have many things in common. This means even with little time I can make tangible progress. If I would try on the other hand to learn, let's say, Korean, then it's a different story because there's barely any relation to all the languages I know already. We also got a different alphabet, different grammar and phonetics, and so on. Hence, to learn Korean, I guess I will need to spend at least 1 to 2 hours a day for several years to get to a level that I can really use the language in day-to-day life. If you want to have an idea of the language difficulties, I can advise you the FSI language difficulty rating. So FSI standing for Foreign Service Institute, which not only categorizes languages, but also gives you an estimate of how many hours you'll need to spend to get them to a B2 level. Important disclaimer here, if you are not a native English speaker, then of course the difficulties may vary. Coming back to my examples of earlier, if you, for example, speak already Japanese, then learning Korean will be way easier. Also to keep in mind is that they are talking about active study time, like sitting down and actively working on the language and not just passively listening to stuff. And 2,200 hours for the most complex languages is quite a bit then. Depending on the language, either you have to learn the script first or you can start right away. If you are, for example, learning Korean, then it makes sense to have a look at the alphabet first and practice it distinctively. For that I can recommend the app Scripts, which belongs to Drops, of which I've already made a test video here and which I'm using now for more than 3 years consistently. Scripts, as the name already suggests, helps you to learn alphabets and scripts like Korean, Russian, Cyrillic, ASL, like American Sign Language, Chinese Hansi, Indian Devanagari, Japanese Kana and Kanji, as well as Sanskrit. Duolingo is also a function to study scripts and even a broader offer of languages, I think. And last but not least, the internet is your best friend. If you need more information or help to learn a different script or alphabet, then the next step is to read, watch and listen a lot. For that, you can do different things. I really like to use the app LingQ, who is also the sponsor of this video. When I first discovered LingQ, it really changed how I learn languages, and so far I've used it to learn French, Italian, Dutch and Spanish. LingQ offers you the possibility to read, watch and listen to content for all levels, from beginner over intermediate to advanced, for over 40 languages. Not only can you use the content that is available by default within the app, but you can also use the browser importer to import your own content like YouTube videos, movies, series, ebooks, podcasts and music. If you have only text but no audio, it can also create an auto-generated audio file, or if you only have audio, it can transcribe it. using an AI integration. The app has an integrated database that saves all the words you know already and also the ones you don't know yet by heart. Also, it gives you translations for words and even phrases in context, as well as it shows you statistics and makes your progress visible. Since language learning is a marathon, not a sprint, like I already mentioned, it's important to stay motivated over the long run. Because sometimes it doesn't feel like we are making progress, even if we do, in fact. If you are interested in LingQ, I've put a link in the description as well as in the comments section, and you can get a 40% discount for the yearly subscription as part of LingQ's annual sale. I receive for that a small commission, by which you support me for making videos on YouTube. Thank you very much for that. And if you want to learn more about LingQ, make also sure to watch this video here first. Of course, there are also other ways to build up your comprehension, like graded readers, interlinear books where you have both the target language and the translation right next to each other, or also other apps, free as well as paid. What I can also highly advise is to check if your language is available in Language Transfer, which is the best free language learning app out there. Well, it's basically an audio program to learn to construct the language by thinking. The available languages are French, Swahili, Italian, Greek, German, Turkish, Arabic, Spanish and English for Spanish speakers. If you want to know more about it, I've also already made a video about that and will link it here. This will not only build your comprehension, but also and especially help you already with the language production. After you have spent a fair amount of time building up your comprehension, you should also work on your pronunciation, because after not being able to understand what's being said, the next most frustrating thing is not to be understood when you say something. For that, we can work on our pronunciation, and there are many ways, but what I like to do is the following. First, use the app drops to not only build up your vocabulary, which is actually a nice side effect, but also to work on your pronunciation. The free version allows you to use it for 5 minutes a day, which can have a huge effect if you use it consistently. And what I like to do also is to listen to the word I'm learning and then repeating it immediately after the native speaker's voice has said it. Each time I try to get closer to mimic it better. I can't emphasize enough on it. You have to do it aloud. It's not enough to do it in your head, but you have to train your mouth to actually produce those sounds. It's a physical exercise. And the other thing that you can do, if you want, are shadowing exercises, which means basically to mimic whole sentences and phrases to assimilate not only the pronunciation of single words, but also the sound, rhythm, and intonation of the language, as well as making whole chunks of language available for you in daily use. If you want to know more about that, I've also explained that already in this video here. Don't procrastinate too much. Prepare and memorize your speaking script and give it a go. What I mean by having a speaking script is to be able to present yourself. What you do, how you are called, where you're from, and so on. You can write that down in your mother tongue and then use a tool like DeepL or Google Translate to translate it to your target language. If you want to have more information about how to get into your first conversation, this would be too much for this video, but I create another video here. Alright, let's wrap it up here. It's not about having the best plan, if something like that even exists, but to have one that you can follow through. Put in the minutes and hours each day to be successful in learning your target language. Consistency is key. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint, so you need to make it a habit. To help with that, it can make sense to stick the habit either to a specific time of the day or another habit you already have, which is called habit stacking. For example, you could learn right after you got up in the morning, or maybe read a bit in your target language before you go to bed. Make your progress visible, because it'll help you to stay motivated over the long run. Also, record yourself when you start speaking, because in the retrospective, you'll be amazed by the progress you've made. Time is your friend. Even complex structures, grammar pattern and vocab can be mastered if you repeat them frequently and get them into your long-term memory. And, last but not least, just start by building up your comprehension. Don't worry too much about the rest, but get going. Please let me know in the comments what language you want to tackle in 2024. That would be super interesting to know. I've got more language learning tips here, or if you're interested in learning more about LingQ, I also got a whole playlist about that here. And if you found the video useful, please leave me a like and a subscription to the channel, and to not miss anything going forward, click on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and see you the next time.